Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Blue Edge Radio. I'm your host, Renee Martin. I'm broadcasting from Sacramento, California. I hope everyone's having a very productive week this week, and I'm sure you're all looking forward to the weekend. I would like to thank all of my listeners, friends, and family for all of your love and support. Thank you all very much for tuning in and being a part of Blue Edge Radio. I have a couple of quick reminders before we start the show. Father's Day is this Sunday, so be sure and pay a visit or at least make a call to Dad's this Sunday. Also, I would like to invite you all to send requests or comments for future shows. If you have any suggestions, you can submit them by dropping by my Facebook page at www.facebook.com and typing in Blue Edge Radio in the search bar. Normally, I would just give out the URL. However, Facebook hasn't quite caught up with the part of technology yet, so Blue Edge Radio has this really long link. But you can also visit my website to find shows and players at www.reneemartin.com. That's RENEEMARTINE.com. My guest this evening is Carla Rosgert. I hope I said that right. Carla Rosgert of LL Research. Carla is an experienced channel that has honed her skill for more than 30 years. She is best known as the channel for the Law of One series, which was channeled by Tuned Trance in the early 1980s. Carla's interesting journey is enlightening and educating many, many spiritual seekers. For more information about Carla on lectures, readings, or events, you can visit her website at www.llresearch.org or www.bringforth.org. That's BRING. the number 4th.org. Good evening, Carla, and welcome to the show.
Hello, Renee. It's so good of you to have me. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. It's great to have you here. I'm very excited, and all my listeners are very excited to share this hour with you.
You're very kind. I look forward to questions as well.
Oh, good. Great. Yeah, I was just going to also put out there that if anybody does have questions, actually, I haven't started the chat room yet, but you can feel free to use the chat room, which I will start in a minute, and also you can call in the number 347-215-6437. So let me just start the chat here. So, Carla, I have some topics that I'd really like to go over tonight. There's 3 topics, and they're all pretty deep and profound. But Wonders, Law of One, and 2012 are the highlights, the most requested questions that people have questions and would like insight on. And so I would like to just let you pick one of those subjects and
all right. I think probably it's simplest to start with the Law of One, which was a very special 3.5 year or so time in the life of L&L Research. Back in the early 80s, I had never done trance and had always been a conscious channel. That is, I was focused, but I was not unconscious. And the only time that I had ever done it was working with a friend whose wife had died young, and she had promised him that she would get in touch with him and let him know how things were going on the other side. So he asked me to try, and I did, and I was able to do it, but it was very difficult for me. I felt draggy and tired afterwards, and after a couple of discussions, and everyone swore it sounded just like his wife. I don't remember anything about it. I gave that up for good, I thought. But in 1981, in January, I was teaching an advanced student, and I got the entity Ra, and not appreciating a fairly negatively oriented Egyptian god name. I challenged with every fiber of my Christian being in the name of Jesus, and Ra passed the challenge perfectly. I asked him to say Jesus is Lord 3 times. He had no problem with that. He said, of course, Jesus is love. Love is king of all. Love is Lord. Mm-hmm. So I felt good about going ahead and channeling, and whoop, there I went under. So it was indeed a very difficult 3 years in my life, I went down to 80 pounds and was eating like a fool, and never got above 85 pounds until the raw period was over, when my beloved companion and research partner, Don Elkins, died. I knew not to continue without Don and Jim as batteries, so I have not channeled Ra individually since then, although the Kuo channel is a principle involving Ra, but Ra never actually speaks to me directly. A fifth density entity called Latwis, which is also a social memory complex or a group, individualized group, speaks to me. Hatan from the love dimension is the third entity in this Kuo principle, and Kuo just simply lends his incredible love vibration to the channelings. I think if you ever go to the research site, the archive site, llresearch.org, you can feel the love that surrounds that, even if it's just text on a screen. It's incredibly loving. So I've been channeling Ra one way or another since 81, but this 3 years was special because of the fact that it was tuned trance telepathy, so-called by Don Elkins. He was a scientist, always into naming things accurately. So that's what that is, apparently, that I was doing. He came through with a philosophy and a cosmology that is tighter, more internally consistent, and internally accurate than any philosophy or cosmology I've ever read. And I could have graduated in philosophy instead of literature. It was a toss-up. So, I mean, I've read a whole lot of philosophy. And actually, Ra reads sometimes like German philosophy because of the fact that in German philosophy you see so often they'll create a word in order to be accurate and specific about what they mean. And Ra did that all the time. He completely reworked the word distortion and simply said, all things are one. It is one universe. We are all connected as parts of the Creator. Not only we, but everything that is. Every inanimate and animate object on the planet, in the universe entirely, is one thing. And that one thing is love itself. The Creator, when he decided he wanted to know more about himself, created a principle or a logos or a thought, the one great original thought of love. So there is nothing in the creation that is not some distortion of love. Of course, you see a lot of murders and raping and pillage of various kinds and aggression, and you know that love can become very distorted. But if you trace it back to the root is love. So that is the kind of universe we live in. And from that point of view, Ra simply develops the way they see the universe. The first principle of this unified law of one, which is love, is free will, because it was free will that caused the Creator itself, intelligent infinity, to choose to know more about itself. The second distortion of the law of one is love, the logos. If you are a Christian, you can read that very word in the Gospel of John, first chapter. They call it the Word, but actually translated from the Greek, the original is logos. The third distortion of the law of one after free will and love is light. And light was the principle that caused the universes to come into being. So when the Confederation channels greet one in the beginning of the session and say goodbye at the end, they greet you in the love and in the light of the one infinite